clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're new here, I'm Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, and I'm here with a beautiful woman.
Hello, everyone. I'm Akdeniz from Turkey and Simon's wife.
There we go. There we go. This is our Sunday tradition. We come in and chop it up on the live at least once a week, every Sunday, for an hour or so with the people. And today we're going to be talking about a real heavy topic. So we're just going to jump into it. Acty, how was your week, though? Real quick.
It was crazy. A lot of work, a lot of projects that I had to do for school. So, yeah, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, me too. Been working crazy. A lot of meetings, a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, so I think about 2 days ago, I released my video about the Diddy and Cassie situation. And Acty was not happy with it. Why weren't you happy with my video, Acty? What was wrong with it? What's wrong?
It's just that it was like so much from a point of male person that it kind of bothered me. The wording bothered me, and yeah, I do agree with some of the stuff that you say, but I don't know. I guess at the time when I was watching it, I just felt so tired of, women trying to explain themselves and trying to prove themselves. And I also felt kind of mad at you because that's something that, you as a black person kind of have to do in this world. Uh,
Mm.
and I felt kind of mad at you for, not considering that part of her story.
I mean, I feel like I did though. When I was reading the case, I felt like I was sympathetic towards her, but I was also trying to be impartial and fair. And some of the things that came out in the story didn't make sense, like Diddy going to shoot Suge Knight, or some other things I said in the video. If you were to do the video, how would you say it? How would you talk about the story?
I mean, I that's the reason why I don't have a separate YouTube channel, because to me that's just like, okay, so there's this woman and she has been through this, and obviously yes, I'm going to look at it from like a point of view of, is she doing it for the money, or is she lying or something like that? Of course I'm going to consider that. Like, I'm not that naive, but we're not talking about a relationship like a year or 2 years, and then it ended and now she's asking for money. That wasn't the case with Diddy and Cat. So yeah, that because of that, I guess I was just like, okay, this is very realistic. This sounds very like real, and it sounds like something that still happens even like today, and
Yeah.
even probably worse during that time.
I mean, what do you mean worse during that time? It's not like this happened in the 1940s. This ain't Ike and Tina. This ain't, Bobby and Whitney back in the 80s. This is like 2005 to 2016 or 18 or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, but that was kind of like the time where women were like very seriously included in the workforce in different, like, in different circles. But I feel like that time is because we were like included in those circles, we as women kind of like turned a blind eye on the stuff that happened behind closed doors. And recently, with like Me Too and all of that stuff, and a couple of people coming out about, I forgot the guy's name. What was the guy's name that like
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein and all of those stuff that came out, like it started to come out. All of this stuff started to come out after, those stories came out. So it didn't really started to we didn't really know the reality of those sort of industries until like maybe, 4 years, 5 years ago.
Wait, so are you saying like Cassie and Diddy happened during a time when women were working and being in businesses and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they didn't talk about the sexual abuse that was going on? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Okay, but that's been happening for a long ass time. That's been happening since like the very first woman walked into an office and the guy whistled and tried to look up her skirt. I mean, what are you talking about? Like that's
yeah,
been going on, but
yeah.
recently people have decided to stop it.
No, people have decided to speak about it. It is still going on, like you said. That's such a dumb point. Don't get me angry now. Ra-
I'm not trying to get you angry, but your point does. I'm not getting with you.
okay,
All right,
I'll tell you. Racism,
huh?
what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Racism has been going on since the beginning of colonialism and it's still going on. So why are you like even talking about it then? That's like the same point that you're making.
But
Like why
I
are you
don't get. I don't get how that matters. I'm not following you. I'm not following you. What you're talking about? What I'm saying is like Cassie had. All right, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm keeping it real. What I'm saying is that Cassie, I feel like, had sometimes to walk away from that relationship. There were times when Diddy was abusive to her. There were times when Diddy was like, had her in a stranglehold and chokehold and stuff like that. She was a young, naive girl coming into the industry. But there was a few times I felt like when I was reading the story that Cassie could have walked away. Because there was like one paragraph. It was like, Diddy beat me. I flew to Connecticut. My mom and dad took pictures of the whooping Diddy gave me. And then the next paragraph is, so we had another freak off where Diddy was like, stroking it while I'm getting banged out. Like I'm like, where is the agency? Where's the agency?
Yeah, but probably like at that time of the relationship, I think they've been together for like a couple of years, and probably Diddy was like threatening her. You saw that like in the report, he constantly, or people that reach out to Cassie constantly say that you have a lot to lose and all these sorts of things. So probably she was afraid of the consequences, even though she might have a picture of a bruise or something, because like in many cases, law is not, even though you might say like she's Asian or she's off-white and whatnot, like law is not always on the side of the woman who got abused, especially when she's faced with a powerful man, even
Yeah,
when
I understand. Like, women have like a disadvantage. A lot of like rape cases go unsolved. A lot of police don't really look into a case when there's domestic abuse all over the world, even in America. I feel you on that. But I feel like it's not about holding Diddy accountable. I'm just talking about having Cassie be accountable for the choice that she made to be in that relationship to some degree. I'm not talking about the separate thing about Diddy being punished. I'm talking about her feeling like, you know what, enough is enough. I didn't want to be in the music industry that bad for someone to whoop on me and abuse me mentally and psychologically. Where's the agency? When do we have to say that somebody's responsible for what they're into? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you look at it from the beginning, let's say that, the first time, even the first time that they were kind of like, together, it was kind of forced, which should have been a red flag. And, maybe at that point I might agree with you. But then at the same time, uh, probably she might have thought, okay, so I want to become successful in this industry. And this guy is like one of the most powerful producers and whatnot, and she probably thought, no matter who I have as a producer or as a boss, there there is a very big possibility that I might get sexually harassed because she's an attractive woman and somewhat like, at that time I guess people would call her like exotic or something like that because of her like age.
At that time.
Yeah, maybe even still. And actually, I looked up at her Wikipedia page, and she does have African American roots. Like she's half African American and she's half Filipino.
Interesting. What's
Um,
up, Craigback, by the way? Go ahead, continue.
so yeah, like so maybe she thought like, okay, at least like he has a really big name, so I might endure this in order to get where I want to. But then at the end, she ended up being stuck in this relationship and couldn't get out, possibly because of it could be death threats. It could be in the beginning, maybe it was like some naked photos or something like that, that she did. I've even like me, I have sent nudes to someone, not like completely naked, but then I didn't really end well with that person, and I regretted my decision. And thankfully nothing happened, like, and most of them I don't have my face. So
Mm.
yeah, like, that could be something that a woman does, but
That's crazy because I don't even get nudes. I don't even get nudes from you.
don't lie. Yeah,
Yeah, Craig Mack says she wanted to do it for 10 years. That's the thing, man. Like you're
she
saying,
did.
like,
So that's the thing that you guys don't understand. Why would
uh,
I want that? But the the events led up to that. It's nobody wants to be in a crazy
n-
abusive relationship. Like,
nobody wants to be in an abusive relationship except the people, unfortunately, who decide to stay in some circumstances. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. If there was like in this story, Cassie had kids with Diddy, or she's a broke ass single woman living on Section 8 housing or living off food stamps and assistance from the government, I could maybe sympathize with that. But we're talking about very wealthy people, very wealthy and famous people who have options. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I understand, but the point that you don't understand is probably at the beginning she did not have a lot of money, and she turned a blind eye to all the weird things that, like, Diddy was doing, and
Listen,
probably that time it wasn't like that. And then time went by, all of her like money depended on Diddy, and Diddy probably also had like threats lined up for her not to, like, get out of this relationship, maybe threatening her family or people around her or directly herself. So then she ends up being like basically like prisoned in this relationship. There is no agency after some point, and
I understand. I understand that.
maybe she should have like not made a deal with the devil.
I
But
understand.
that is maybe her fault, but you know what came later is not her fault.
I understand that, but let me ask. I understand the point about financial domination. A lot of the times, powerful men or just men in general can abuse women because the women are financially dependent on them on their man. I understand that, but let me ask you this: we have a daughter. Her name is Cassie, and she comes back home after dating some famous rap mogul superstar and shows us all the bruises on her face and all the cuts and scars on her face. And she's at home crying on our couch, Daddy, Daddy, Diddy beat me. Mommy, Mommy, take pictures of all the beating Diddy did. And so then we're sitting down talking to her, telling her to relax and chill, and we got you, we're going to protect you. And then 2 weeks later, she's back in New York getting piped out with the same guy. How would you react to that? Are you going to say she's not responsible? She was in our care. She came to us for help, but then she left us and went back to that sort of lifestyle.
I don't think things are that black and white, Simon.
Yeah, but how
what,
would you
what
feel? I'm asking you a question. How would you feel?
I would feel like I can't like protect my daughter, and I would want to like go and get her out of there as soon as possible. But
But
I
she came to us and we told her, don't go back and don't do that. But you're going to be like, well, it's not
Yeah,
my
but
fault.
that's what I'm saying. That's probably not the only thing she told them. And maybe they didn't know that she was like going back, or that's what I'm saying. Maybe there was a threat or something like that that could hurt her family. So how do you make that decision then?
I mean, listen, it's like drug addiction. I think being in those toxic relationships is a lot similar to drug addiction. Yes, we want the addict to change and we understand they're going through something horrible. Like Cassie comes home to us, starts crying that she can't get off crack, but then 2 weeks later she's back smoking crack. We know that she is responsible because she chose to smoke the crack. But at the same time, we have to realize that she's dealing with an addiction, right? And love and relationships that are toxic are sometimes very addictive. And get what I'm saying? Do you follow what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
understand that she might be dealing with the problem, but I do not think that we cannot take away responsibility for making certain choices at a certain point. That's just all I'm saying. I can understand if you're with a guy and in the first year he like smacks you once, or you're with some girl sometimes and she like turns up on you, scratches you, abusing you. I could understand if it happens one or two times and you fix it and try to work on it. But if it's after certain 5, 10 years, you don't have any kids, and both of y'all are just not married, you're just dating, there has to be a certain point where we say, yo, where's the responsibility? Where's the responsibility?
I
You get
mean,
what I'm
I
saying?
I understand. Yes, like yeah. If she really, really, really wanted to, could she get out? Maybe, like maybe, yeah. Maybe it would be like really hard for her, and she did get out eventually. But maybe could that be sooner? Yes, but that's still like not a reason to justify or think of her like she's just making up these claims and things like that.
Well, speaking of that, jump into the comments. Would you mind reading some comments for us?
Yeah. Greg Mack said she wanted to do it for 10 years. She said she did not want to lose her record deal. It's in her lawsuit. This is why she didn't want to leave. Yeah, I mean, that might be the case. And if that is, but I don't think that is the only reason why she stayed, because then like again, nobody would probably endure this sort of thing for 10 years only because like they want to have a record deal.
But let me ask you, Acting. We read the lawsuit, but that was from her, and then the lawsuit got settled the next day for who knows how much money. Do you think that there's possibly another side to the story that maybe would not make Cassie look so good, or maybe that could exonerate Diddy? That shows that maybe he's not this monster that was painted out in the lawsuit. I mean, do you think it's fair to only judge one side?
No, it's not fair to only judge one side, but if the other side chooses just to stay silent and pay, then that also says something as well.
I feel you. Okay. What was the next comment? Really? I, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So did you feel me about the point where I was like, I can understand you feeling like I might be taking the man's side, but I don't know. Do you feel like I'm being like too harsh on Cassie or something? Or too harsh on women in abusive relationships or anybody in abusive relationships?
I mean, just I guess like answering if you were being too harsh on Cassie. When I was watching the video, I thought for like a millisecond that, what if she probably might be looking at comments and stuff like that online about this whole like lawsuit, and what if she like comes across this video, let's say. She probably won't, but maybe she will. I don't know. How would she feel you talking about the case and everything that she went through and the way that you're wording stuff and the gestures that you're doing and stuff like that. And I just felt like she would probably be triggered and feel really bad about all of this, and might even like you know bringing up this to the daylight, because I'm guessing it's probably, even though she got money out of it, it's probably not something that was easy to write, saying that you were raped by a stranger in front of your then boyfriend, boss slash abuser, and you were using drugs, and this woman has kids and has a husband and stuff like that, so it's not easy to put all of this out there.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, yeah, I can sympathize with that. The thing is, when I do my celebrity videos and I'm talking about celebrity stuff, I honestly have like a lower standard for care, because these people are much more wealthy than I'll ever be. They are much more famous than I'll ever be, and they also have mountains of resources that is the trade off for being a famous person. It's like if you're the king of England, you have to deal with the tabloids. Oh, that's the worst part of being the king. People just talk shit. Okay. So I'm just some guy on the internet talking shit about two famous people who are going through famous rich people problems. That's how I honestly look at it. So while I don't know if that makes me unsympathetic or cool, what do you think?
No, I mean, I know your style. I know, like, those videos that you did, for example, the two policemen raping a black man and things like that. Like, I know how you speak, and even like in that video, which is like also a very serious video, you were talking like crazy and things
Mm.
like that. So I'm familiar with that, but uh I don't know, like, that's why I can't tell, like, if you're being, you uh, rude or anything like that, because I know in your heart that that's not how you feel, but maybe it might sound like that to someone who's
Yeah.
listening to your channel for the first time.
Yeah, man. I just like when it comes to talking about the celebrity stuff, I'm gonna be extra silly with it. And just like how you mentioned, I even forgot about the Mississippi police video. But yeah, when the Mississippi cops were raping black dudes, I was like, why y'all want to just put big sticks up in brothers, man? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all nasty. Why are people doing shit like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I just I just have a certain way of talking that I feel like is honest and true to me. But I really felt like going into this lawsuit that I was about to read, I was like, I gotta at least protect Diddy because it's so often that, women that appear as white, and I didn't even know Cassie was half black or whatever, but she appears white or Asian or something like that, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to a case of like accusations against a black man, I'm always gonna be like, you know, how can I say this, protective of him because there have been so many cases of black men, such as Emmett Till, or what happened at Black Wall Street, or Mike Tyson, or Tupac Shakur, or so many other black men who've been accused of rape and then found innocent years later, or got overly punished for something that was misinterpreted as sexual assault. This is why I'm always going to be like defensive because, you know, that's something that's sensitive to me. But I don't know. Tell me, was I tripping? What? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I do understand, and just to clarify, like, she's if I remember this correctly, her mother is half black, half Mexican, so she's like a quarter black and Filipino.
Okay, then she's an octoroon then.
She does have like black in her heritage, but that's it. Anyway, that's not the point, but yeah, I do understand the sensitivity around like black men with non-black women, and how if they, especially if they're like powerful black men, then they could be, you know, taken advantage of, like either financially or just like their whole lives they could go to prison and things like that. And yeah, and like um that is obviously something that is so unfair, but at the same time, you have to understand that there's also another group who is always been subjected to unfairness, which is women. But I'm not trying to like race, oh, who has it worse, is it black man or woman? So it's not that's not something I'm trying to do, but I guess in that case you just have to look at like the different details of the story. You know, how long was it? Like, how long were the relationship, or what type of context do we have about the relationship and things like that? And maybe even the longevity doesn't prove anything, because I think in some of those cases that you mentioned, those people have been together for a long time. Um,
Like what cases? What cases you talking about?
Emmett Till, wasn't he?
No, Emmett Till. No, Emmett Till. That happened a long time ago. Young black man goes down south to Mississippi, whistles at a white woman, gets killed.
Oh, no, I was talking about that, I mean, that black I thought that was Emmett Till, sorry. But, I have to, like, study before these live shows, but,
Anyway,
I was talking about that man who got, like, stabbed in the hotel room by her, like, white girlfriend.
oh, you talking about the OnlyFans, the Nigerian, the big
Ye
Nigerian?
yeah,
He was with that crazy OnlyFans girl, and then she stabbed him.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like,
No,
maybe
listen,
a long time or something like that, but
this is the thing. This is the thing. In that relationship, it was very similar to like Cassie and Diddy, but it was reversed. She was the rich person, and he was like financially sort of dependent on her. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And then she had been attacking him, abusing him, calling him racial slurs and stuff like that. And the response from men online and women online was like, "Why did you continue to go back?" And they were blaming him for going back. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I I can't help it but feel that some type of way too about that. Like, there's no way, actor, you can whoop on me, call me nigger, and throw stuff at me and shit like that, and then I continue to come back. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in that case, I do think it's still wrong for like people to, tell him, "Oh, why didn't you leave her?" and things like that. And that's probably was even harsher because he was a man. So people were like, "Oh, you're a man. Like, why can't you take care of yourself and you have to go back to her and things like that?" But that's not like how toxic relationships work. That's why they're not like just bad relationships. They're toxic relationships. Those people have a way of like reeling you in back to the relationship, and then everything is good and great, and then everything goes back to, this everything goes back to shit again, basically. I
Mm.
don't You ever been in a toxic relationship?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You don't remember, before
I
I dated you, I dated this Macedonian girl called it called the Devil. Her nickname is the Devil because she was hella toxic. She was abusive physically and stuff like that. Hassan Campbell got shot. Damn. Anyway, that's crazy. I'm gonna cover that next time. But yeah, I was with this girl, and she was hella toxic. And I one time she whooped my ass. She beat my ass, like punched me in the eye and all sorts of stuff. I thought I was gonna die because she was whooping my ass in the kitchen, and I can't whoop on this like crazy white woman because everybody's gonna look at me crazy. So then I just captured video of it, and then the police come. I show them the video, and everybody laughs at me. So this is maybe why I have some sort of bias in this situation, because
but
I'm like, huh?
did you like, I guess not after this last fight or maybe even the last fight, but like I'm sure that you guys have broken up and then you reconnected again. Was that ever?
Yes. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So that's the thing. Like, that was one time that that happened. And then we worked it out and then talked about it. And you get what I'm saying? Uh, and some people might say I'm crazy or bad for going into that relationship again. But I knew, and I was willing to take responsibility for whatever happened afterwards, that uh, that I was making the choice to enter into something crazy. Because I was thinking, if I saw this happen to somebody else, I would say, you need to leave. But I was taking responsibility for it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so then you went back to the relationship, and if anything were to happen to you in that relationship, let's say, I don't know, it could have been as extreme as, death, or something like you guys got married, or, and, you know, she filed a complaint or something like that, just like going to the police. And then that would have been just your fault. you would
I feel like it.
you wouldn't like expect other people to care about your case like you do to Diddy and other people that have faced things like that.
No, no, what I'm saying is, let's say I go back to the Devil, this my ex, right? After she whoops my ass, right? I'm accepting the responsibility that I'm making a decision that a lot of people would say is dumb. I think a lot of us make excuses for the people we love, right? You're with somebody that you love, you make an excuse and try to get with them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And try to work it out. Um, uh, and the thing is, if I went back to that relationship and got killed, or she abused me again, or something like that, I would want there to be justice. I wouldn't want people to say, oh, he chose to be with this crazy girl, so then he deserved whatever happened to him. That's not what I want people to say. I would like her to be held accountable if she did kill me. You get what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I would have to say, I wouldn't want anybody to say, oh, he's not to blame at all, or he's irresponsible, or he's not responsible for this. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I feel like at a certain point, you have to take accountability for your choices in relationships. There has to be some accountability in who we choose to be with, who we choose to lay with, and what we accept in relationships. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. No, I get what you're saying, and honestly, like, I feel like probably Cassie feels the same way that you do about this. I don't think she thinks she's not responsible for anything. And I feel like, especially like about like the drugs and stuff, we can see that she also feels like remorse about her decision as well. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's like the case with Cassie that she's just like, she's only saying, "Oh, I've been, just abused," and Diddy has the whole fault. Like Diddy does have the majority of the fault. And maybe that's why she only filed for, money and not
Mhm.
the civil court or
A
something like
criminal court.
criminal court, yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into some comments real quick. So, Craig Mack said, "AKDI making a lot of excuses for this broad being a freak. Western women are pulling all these Me Too schemes now, especially if you have money." I think that was the sentiment because a lot of people are like, why is Cassie filing this civil complaint, trying to get money out of Diddy when she was using all of these criminal cases like battery laws, human trafficking laws, sex abuse laws, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you want to jump on that? Do you want to reply?
I don't know what Greg Mack is talking about. I'm not making excuses, first of all. And I don't think she's a freak who wanted to get raped and abused all the time. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. I'm sorry, Greg Mack, but yeah, she might be like, women can be sexual and women can be sexually active. Women might want to have sex all the time and have freaky ideas and fantasies, but it always has to be consensual. So
Yeah,
anything, no matter how freaky the woman is, anything that happens without her consent is rape or sexual assault.
yeah.
Please, I want to make this clear. And I don't know about I don't remember about the European part because I can't see that comment.
The European part, I don't know, is European. So let's see. Uh, I don't see anything about Europe. Craig Mack also says,
Uh,
if I was in Puffy's position, I would have paid her off just to get rid of her and not have my business put out on Front Street. Paid, yeah, I think that's what Diddy decided to do to get rid of the bad publicity and that sort of stuff. He ended up paying whatever, how much million, maybe 10 million or whatever, and just wiped it off his shoulders. Wiped it off his plate. I don't know. But are you saying because Diddy paid AKDI that he's like guilty, that he must have done it?
I mean, honestly, like, yeah, that might be the case, but I'm not sure about that because I don't know. Like, I don't want to say yes, I think he's guilty. It could be that or what, like Greg Mack said, like maybe he just did it just to get like behind it and not focus on that anymore. But I don't know. I just feel like all this stuff is already out, and maybe he will address it later, like a year later or something like that. But if he's keeping silent, it means that maybe he did some of the things that Cassie said, or maybe it was like a two-sided abusive relationship or something like that, and he did those things, but Cassie also did some abusive stuff, maybe, I don't know. And maybe he doesn't want to talk about that, so he's just like, feel
Yeah.
tired and guilty of this whole thing.
Yeah, I honestly think that some of those things that were in the lawsuit were true. Uh, like you don't just write multiple times that you got beat up unless there was actual truth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he did put her hands on her. I definitely believe the stuff about the swinging and the freak offs. That's definitely true. But there was a lot of stuff in there that I did not find true at all. Like him blowing up Kid Cudi's car. Stop it. Stop it. Not true. Diddy ain't got people blowing up cars. He's not picking up people and hanging them over the balcony by their ankles. I don't believe that. And he's not getting the gun to go and kill Suge Knight 20 years later after their beef is done. Like that don't make sense to me. So that's the thing that makes it hard for me to like take a side in this. Well, I would take Cassie's side so far because it's like there's some things in there that just don't make sense to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like some things that he said he would do when he was like on drugs or drunk like that, but I don't also believe that he actually did those things, and unless like we hear Kid Cudi saying like, "Oh yeah, I think it was Diddy or something," then I don't like, I don't think that we should believe everything. And I just want to say like I don't hate Diddy. I listened to his music, like I was fine with him. I'm not like the Diddy fan or anything like that, but he's cool and made a lot of like good music. And yeah, and just because like he did all of this, it's not like I'm not like bury him under the jail and like that. But, yeah, if he did really do those things and Cassie only asked for the money, then yeah, like I guess he paid his due because if Cassie really wanted to go further than that, he could have, like you said.
Yeah, yeah,
And the only person who was majorly harmed in this relationship was Cassie, and this is what she asked as justice, and he did pay for it. So, what more can we do about this? Like, yeah.
yeah. The thing is with Diddy, like we still, at least for me as like a hip hop fan, we still love and revere and respect Diddy for everything he's given to hip hop culture. He's been a part of so many movements and artists that have changed the game. But it's like Kanye West, you know what I mean? I think all those famous people who are hyper successful artists are literally insane. Like Beyonce is insane, Jay Z, Diddy, Taylor Swift, all of these people are literally crazy, weird people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And some are just better at hiding it. Kanye is the worst at hiding it, but everybody else is pretty good at hiding it. You know what I mean? So I think with Diddy, for a long time we had this perception of him as this mogul, cool businessman guy. But as time goes on and everybody gets revealed over time, if you're in the spotlight, right? Time has revealed him to be kind of a dick and kind of aggressive and kind of weird and sick and twisted. You get what I mean?
yeah.
So that's my perception of Diddy. This is just another chapter of just him slowly revealing himself to the public. You get what I'm saying?
I just hope that there's like no other cases or other women that he did this to, because if those type of things come out, then that's like goes into another dimension. That's like a serial kind of abuser type of situation. But I don't know. How do you think like when things like this come out, whether they're real or not, how do you think this affects like the black community and especially black men?
Uh, uh, that's the thing, man. I wanted to protect. I think a lot of men right now are on Diddy's side because we have seen this play happen often. Black men like Bill Cosby and others get accused of sexual assault or something like that and get overly punished. Meanwhile, rich, powerful white men like Donald Trump can get literally convicted of rape in a civil court, right? The same thing. This is the crazy thing about our world we live in. Trump got accused of the same thing and was found guilty of this in a court. Trump, by definition, is a convicted rapist in a civil case. But
Hmm.
Trump is about to be possibly the next president again. Meanwhile, Diddy gets accused of this and a few other things from people, and he settles his cases quietly. He doesn't, go into the court. Yet and still, this will haunt him for the rest of his life, right? Rich,
Yeah,
powerful. This is the double standard of America and how we view, you know, the how sexuality and sexual assault and victimization and levels of power are viewed on black men differently than others. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And that's why we're so. I think a lot of black men are looking at this and saying, number one, Diddy been a wild boy. Diddy's hella freaky. Now we just know a little bit more. Number two, they're probably viewing Diddy as even more gay. Like Diddy's probably gay, even though nothing in the text said he was gay. And number three, Cassie is just another woman who seeks to want to, financially gain from tearing another black man down. That's how I think a lot of people are viewing it. And I don't know. That's what I think.
yeah. I don't know. That's kind of, yeah. See, that's kind of heartbreaking. Just looking from my point of view, obviously, any person who hurts a woman like that, no matter like their position or skin color is, or whatever their religion is, they should be punished. But that's not the case in, at least, like, in the world we live in, and that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm thinking like, okay, okay, black men are angry because non-black women have been raped and abused, and then white men could get away with raping and abusing women. So, like, okay, we can never win. Okay, like where do we, where do we get that, where when do we get to that stage where, like, it's not actually black or white, but it's about this thing that happened to a woman.
Yeah.
And that's just like from my perspective, and I do understand like your perspective as well, and I don't think it's like wrong, but I just feel like it's only one sided.
I don't get how you feel like it's one sided though. Like,
because
because
because your conflict or your fight against white supremacy and the power that white people have, uh, is like going over a basic human right that this woman like went through.
so you're saying like, I'm kind of picking on women, or black men might be picking on women in defense of Diddy against wrongful allegations, because it's not really the women that's the problem. It's the white men that then enforce, harsher penalties on black men for attacking non-black women. Is that what you're saying?
That is part of the problem, but the main problem is men abusing women regardless. you know
Right, but there's also a problem of women accusing men of things that they did not do, which does happen, especially against rich, powerful men, and on top of that, against black men for multiple reasons, right? So, like, the white women would say, "Oh no, we're just women. We don't want to be abused and stuff like that." Meanwhile, many white women have weaponized their whiteness to make sure that black men get killed by accusing them of rape, sexual assault, uh, and that sort of stuff. So we can't say, "Oh, the women are so innocent," or that we're taking one side against the women, stuff like that, when women have been a part of the problem sometimes. Sometimes. Do you get what I'm saying?
yes, I understand that women have been a problem. It's not like we're all innocent. There's bad guys on both sides. But when you say that you believe most of the things Cassie wrote, and then if you look at like the majority of the cases, probably most of them are true, and probably there's a whole lot more that hasn't been revealed, not just about Diddy, about like abuse in general or rape in general. So by looking at, I guess, like the statistics and what you thought was true in Cassie's case, I don't understand how you could still say that you know Cassie is just another woman who's trying to take advantage of a black man, or just saying that Diddy has been a freaky person, has been a freaky boy or something like that. Like, it's
Mm.
the words that you're describing Diddy and the words you're describing Cassie are just like so contradictory to what you believe, I feel like.
I don't feel like I'm contradicting myself here. If I understand you right, like, I do. You're saying that I believe a lot of what Cassie said, and
Yeah,
that's definitely true. I definitely believe a lot of the stuff. I do believe Diddy put hands on her at least once or twice, right? And I
yeah.
do definitely believe Diddy, abused her sexually too. I believe that, but also believe that there's two sides of the story, and also that if this sort of abuse lasted for this long, there must have been some other side that is not being told, that explains her certain behaviors. Why did she continue to go back to Diddy after going to her parents' house in Connecticut, getting pictures of the bruises taken? Why did she continue to leave all of the dudes that she was dating? She dated Kid Cudi briefly. She went to South Africa, dated some other dude. Why did she come back to Diddy? There must have been some sort of relationship there or reason there uh, that kept her coming back, and also that allowed her to look past some of the abuse. Because once again, I have to say this: uh, Cassie could have been filed those charges on Diddy, back in 2011, 12, and won a whole lot more money, honestly. She could have had Diddy behind bars and had him took every dollar in his bank account. Because if think about it, some black man, despite his millions, is still a nigga. Diddy is still a nigga at the end of the day. And if Cassie were to walk into a police precinct, little white Asian girl or off white girl, bruises all over her face, and she says, "This big black rapper dude beat on me," they would have been locked Diddy's ass up. So I gotta say, like, I feel like I'm being consistent here. You get
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, but she didn't do that, and she only asked for the money. So maybe what you are saying is right. So maybe that's what I said before. She was feeling like, okay, I am sort of responsible in this abuse because I chose to stay in it and I went back to him. So I'm just gonna, but still, he did these things to me that were very wrong. So I'm just gonna like charge him for the money. And that's what she did.
Mm.
So like it's still, it's still like I don't know, it's the wording maybe that bothers me, that Diddy is described as freaky and Cassie is described as a money grabber or things like that. Like, no, Diddy abuser and Cassie was the victim. No matter what are like the details are, that doesn't matter. Diddy was not freaky. That's like,
he is pretty freaky, man. He's a
okay,
freaky
like
dude.
freaky light that you paint on him, that's disturbing. And Cassie is like always, negatively portrayed. And once again, she didn't put him in jail. She didn't do anything that like you were afraid of. He did pay some money, probably won't hurt him in the long run. So like I don't understand why the black man committee is so angry at Cassie because,
We're not angry at Cassie. We're just skeptical. That's what I'm saying. We're
but why?
skeptical
He didn't,
because what
he only paid money. So why are you skeptical?
because it feels like you can take advantage of this situation, and it's like when this happens, right? This could be the next athlete or any black man who makes a lot of money. Somebody can accuse them of something and shake them down to take all that they worked hard for. You get what I'm saying? And that's not cool.
I get what you're saying, but I'm talking specifically about this case. I know what happened in the past regarding like, powerful black men and non-black women, let's say. And I know what could happen in the future. Yes, black men might be taken advantage of, but I feel like in this case, she didn't take advantage of Diddy. I don't think
That
it.
if you're able to get $30 million out of somebody after just filing a lawsuit from one day, that's a that's t- that's you did gain something, and that person is taking a hit. I think anybody would feel the pain
Yeah,
of $30 million leaving their account, even if they had a billion.
yeah, but that person also abused you at the same time for many years. So I think that's a well deserved, like, you know, money.
I think if it's true, if everything that she said about Diddy was actually true, then he paid a fair price
Exactly. That's what.
monetarily. But it does makes Cassie look crazy that she didn't try to send him to jail, that she didn't try to file some actual charges on him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then again, I'm saying I think she held her accountable as well. So maybe that's the reason she didn't want to go full force on him.
I got you. So you're saying that she held some restraint because deep down inside she knows she was a willing participant.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. And also, like, this did happen years ago. So maybe she was kind of over it and she just wanted the benefits of it for being abused for so many years. And I think that's fair to,
Mm.
and that's
Let's jump into some. Go ahead.
if if what she is saying is correct. But I do think that she's telling the truth.
You think she's
Like,
telling the truth? Okay.
and I think she's telling the truth.
About Diddy and about her relationship with Diddy, right? You feel like she's telling the truth. about what happened between her and Diddy.
Yeah,
Because when it comes to the Kid Cudi stuff, blowing up cars, that sounds like a Biggie line. Diddy gonna blow up your car, better be home. That sounds like something like Biggie raps. Like what the fuck?
no, I don't know about that part. Like I said, I think those might just be some things that he said when he was drunk or something, and he never actually did it, and he was just,
Mm,
you know, trying to make a joke, or just was high or drunk or something.
yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go into some comments real quick. I don't know if this is Turkish. Luca
And
Brasi said, "Diddy den uzakdır." What does that mean?
it means stay away from Diddy.
That's a funny Turkish comment. That's pretty funny. That's funny. And what do you say? Salute Simon Acty in the chat. Greg Mack said, "What up, Oz? You're also giving her a pass to take your life if she called the cops on you. It's best to bounce. There are millions of women. You're also giving her a pass to take your life if she calls the cops on you." That's a deep topic because, like, as a man, if you're a black man with with a non-white woman, she calls the cops on you talking about this man beating on me. She could pop. The police could pop up and just pop you.
But
You
you
get what I'm saying?
have responsibility, remember?
Once again, I think people who are in abusive relationships for an extended period of time, if they don't have kids, if they have some financial independence, yes, you sort of are responsible. I'm putting all of those caveats there because I don't want anybody watching this video thinking, oh, the single mom who's with some dude who's addicted to drugs, she's totally responsible for the situation she's in. No, but a person like Cassie, I feel like, if that was my sister, my daughter, and I know about this, and I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her it's not worth it to be in the industry that bad, she's somewhat responsible. That's all I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. But, okay. Do you want to go back to the comments?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. You want to read them?
Let's see. Okay. Greg Mack said, "What up, Oz?" He also said, "You're." Oh, wait. So
D-
sorry, you read this.
yeah. It's gonna be Ozzy. Diddy was definitely getting piped down by those male escorts. Do you think Diddy is gay?
I think he might be bisexual.
I don't think Diddy's gay. I don't think he's gay. Why do you think he's bisexual? Because he just watched the male hookers.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. But I do also agree, like when you said if Diddy was gay, Cassie would have said it in the lawsuit.
Mm.
She probably would have said like, he made me watch.
And then participated.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know. So maybe he's not gay, but he just likes watching people fuck.
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, go ahead. Read after that.
She got 100 million. Oh, it's okay, Cassie. Uh, Ozzy said, "God damn," and he also said, "I believe her, but this is definitely a money grab."
Mm.
Yeah, it's okay if it was a money grab if he actually did those things. It's better than you know paying money and also going to jail. Uh, Greg Mack said, "It is at the point in America if a woman sleeps around and she sees 10 years later one of the guys she slept with has a lot of money, she can sue him with one of those false claims." Uh,
Yeah, that's the big fear. That's the big fear for a lot of men. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like before we hopped on this live, we were watching a documentary about Michael Vick, right? And Michael Vick lost everything because of the dogs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like one mistake in America can cost you millions, And Michael Vick, once he got caught, he lost everything. He had a negative bank account balance, had to restart his whole football career. And so, yeah, that's a big fear for a lot of men who work so hard to achieve things. You want to jump on that?
yeah. I mean, obviously, it differs from case to case, and in the case of like Michael Vick, it was so unfair, and it was like so obvious that America's system was just like, punishing this man for, I don't want to. Can you hear me?
Yeah. The connection stopped. All right, you good? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, like he did make a mistake, but like it was so unfair that like the price he paid was unfair. But you guys have to understand that unfairness doesn't only come to you. It also comes,
We,
with us. Yes, you don't know what's that girl that's been with. You don't know what she's gonna do. She might put false claims on you 10 years later, or whatever. She might say that you abused her, and actually, like, she abused you or something. Yes, that could happen, but you also have to, like, see our point of view as well. Whatever relationship that we go into, every time that we meet a guy and go to his house, we, like, worry about, or even when we're just walking in the street, we worry about sexual assault, or, abuse. It could be a physical abuse or sexual abuse and things like that. So it goes both ways. And I'm not saying those women put false claims, they're right. Obviously, they are wrong. But
right. But the difference is that the unfairness for being a man and being a woman, at least no, specifically the unfairness of being a black man is that you are overly punished for similar mistakes. Meanwhile, while women have shared many of the, you know similar struggles that black men have, they do not suffer from that one thing particularly. Women don't get overly sent to jail. Women don't get sent to jail longer for the same crime and stuff like that. Women aren't automatically assumed to be criminals like a lot of black men are. You get what I'm saying? So that's a specific thing that we as black men deal with. You get what I'm saying? And in general, talking about successful men are targets often for women who want to, take advantage of them by trapping them with babies, or uh, being in relationships with them and then accusing them of bad things. So there's like extra things you have to be careful of. We understand that women have to be cautious on who they date and like the abuse they could go through and stuff like that, but there's just some differences in circumstance.
yeah, there's differences, and I understand the differences, but there's also a section of women, which is, women of color, and they go, I don't know, like, specifically if there's a difference between, like, the abuse or reporting the abuse and not having, like, the law enforcement believing in you. Like, I don't know the statistics, but I can imagine that that might be the case. I don't know, again, but yeah, like, it's women of color also go through very hard things that white women don't have to go through.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sort of feels like that's something that you men started, and specifically white men started, I guess. And then now some women who are bad are taking advantage of the situation. And
Right,
not,
right. All right. Craig Mack is talking crazy. He's a funny dude. Let's read his other comment. How about women lying and who's the father? What about Amber Heard? What about Michael Irving being lied on at that hotel um, uh, before the Super Bowl and nothing happens to the woman? Yeah. And three things you don't mess with in the US. The untouchables, he's talking about, the Jews. He's talking about Jewish people. Rainbow Riders. And me too. You will lose everything or maybe your freedom. That's crazy because I feel like I've talked about all of those groups on my channel with no repercussions. I talked about the Jews. I talked about the LGBTQ plus IA. I talked about who was the last one? Me Too. I'm talking about Me Too now. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, with Amber Heard, she got what she deserved. And I don't know what happened to Michael Irving. Sorry, I don't.
Michael, all right, but let's talk about Amber Heard real quick because Amber Heard's case was unique. In fact, the whole world was watching that case because they were
Yeah,
expecting Johnny to get exposed and Johnny to be some sort of abuser. But when people started watching the case, they were actually shocked that this happened. And
yeah,
even still, when people heard the evidence, there were a lot of people still expecting there to be an outcome where Amber Heard walks away not innocent or guilty because there is protection of a lot of the times for women in court systems and stuff like that. Maybe it's the same in Turkey too. That women often don't go to jail. They don't just send women to jail like they do men and stuff like that, right?
yeah.
All right. But anyway, I don't know. Tell me what you thought about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing.
yeah, like everyone else around the world, I was expecting like some really bad stuff about Johnny Depp and that he would turn out to be like this sicko. It's since it was like live and everything, it was like really obvious that she was trying so hard. She was lying, and all of the allegations were like kind of shit. So yeah, it was interesting, and I do think that they kind of made an example out of her. Like even though she didn't go to jail and stuff, she probably like will never have a successful career like she had before, and probably maybe even never like have any roles after what happened.
She had to pay a lot of money. What, 10 million or something?
Yeah, like maybe she went bankrupt or something. I don't know. I don't know if how rich she was before, but yeah, I think that was it was like a monumental, moment in history where the woman was actually the abuser for the most part, I guess.
Yeah.
And I thought it was important for you guys. It was like, 1 point for men.
Finally, finally. Because, yeah, man, it's like a lot of guys get accused of stuff, and a lot of men are automatically assumed to be the aggressors in relationships because, unfortunately, that's the truth a lot of the times. But when it turned out that Johnny wasn't, we were kind of happy. When it comes to Michael Irving was a famous football player. He's retired. He was at a hotel for the Super Bowl. He's now like a commentator on the game. And there was a front desk worker who came up to him, and we saw on the camera that she said something to him, but and Michael said something back, and then she sort of stood there and hung around and laughed, but then walked backwards awkwardly. And so then the story goes that the hotel manager or the front desk manager came to her and said, "What did Michael say to you?" And the lady said, Michael Irvin said, "Hey, do you want some big black dick up in you?" or something like that. Because Michael Irvin's a big, tall black man, and it was a short little white girl who said this. Some people are sick, man. I don't know where people get these pickup lines. That's a horrible pickup line. But Michael said he never said that. Michael said he never said that. And I don't know what happened with the case after that. But they tried to suspend him from his job. He lost the opportunity to like commentate on the Super Bowl and stuff like that. And yeah, basically, I think the case got dropped because basically the girl was lying or something like that. I don't know. I have to look into it. But yeah, there's some stuff like that that's going on. And that's what makes a lot of men afraid.
Yeah,
And
no, believe that this is like a lie because obviously they don't have any relationship. He doesn't have any relationship with this woman. She's just like a random Karen that decided to like maybe like make a joke or something, and then it just got she was like, "Oh, wait, maybe I can make money from this." And then she, you know, filed a lawsuit or something. I can see that this is like, a true money grab.
yeah. That's the thing about being a successful man in general, but probably a successful person in general, you
Yeah.
know. But when you're a man, you have to be careful about the women that you let around you. And I think it's the same. And I think this goes back to responsibility. Like if you're a successful man, you know what I mean, and you're playing those crazy games, you have to take responsibility. Like just like Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick can't be saying, "Oh, I'm a victim of circumstance. I didn't want to leave my homies in Virginia. I grew up fighting dogs. To me, it's normal." No, you gotta accept responsibility that as a very successful black man, Michael Vick, you can't be out here with your homies from Virginia fighting dogs in your backyard. There
Yeah.
has to be some accountability. You get what I'm saying? So I think I think that's what it boils down to. But tell me what you think.
Uh, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what to say.
Any other comments?
Craig Mack said she got what she deserved. She needed to get jail time. And said Johnny lost millions, and once again, nothing happened to her. They just had her in the USA Today on her outfit. She's not paying that lawsuit. Oh, I didn't know Johnny, like, also. Oh, Johnny lost because of the whole lawsuit. Yeah. Uh,
What they're saying is that that Amber's not going to pay the money that she has to pay because this
but
is
doesn't is like if she doesn't pay, doesn't she go to jail?
Um, Man, there's ways of evading it. You know, the thing is, if you win a lawsuit against somebody, the court just says, "All right, now you owe them money." But it's like getting blood from a stone. What if somebody hides their money? What if they file for bankruptcy? Oh, I don't have any money. I keep all my money in my husband's account or something.
Yeah,
Or
don't they have to go to jail?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer, but in
Yeah.
general, I'm pretty sure Amber Heard could probably avoid paying Johnny for the rest of her
I mean,
life.
even if she does, obviously that's not fair, but I don't think Johnny needs that money. I think he can still get roles and build up his like career again. And yes, maybe he did lose a lot of money in the process of it, but I don't think like he's poor now. So and Amber Heard's career got destroyed. So
Right.
it was kind of like a, poetic justice, maybe
Yeah.
not technical sense, but in the public eye.
Yeah. But Johnny had to take responsibility for staying with that woman after she took a shit on his bed and kicked him in the face. Like Johnny has to take responsibility. So I'm going both ways. I say Cassie has to take responsibility for choosing Diddy multiple times over years. And uh, Johnny has to take responsibility for being with this crazy broad who tried to look for cocaine in his asshole or something like that, or whatever the situation was. Pouring mega pints and slapping Johnny. He has to take responsibility.
Yeah. Uh, Craig Mack said Michael Irvin won 50 million from his lawsuit.
Oh, see, he was vindicated. There was no proof that he ever said, "You want some big black dick up in." That don't even sound like something a black man would say, low key. That
Yeah,
sounded a good pickup line.
pickup line.
That's a horrible pickup line. Like that line, uh, you got some black in your family or you want some? Like horrible pickup lines like that.
Wow.
People say
Wow.
horrible shit.
What
Huh?
that's bad.
That's really bad. That's really bad.
Um, Craig Mack said Amber wakes up in the morning saying today is nice and bright and a great day to be white.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Amber Heard. Amber Heard. She's not even that cute. Not even that cute. It's like a solid six.
Stop,
I,
woman. This
okay.
is another problem. You guys were here. I was watching your, Diddy video. Like you're telling everyone like she's a baddie, she's this and she's that, and then Ozzy, I don't know who it was. Sorry, Ozzy. Someone commenting like she's a 10, or how could he let her get away and things like that. Like
Mm.
stop it. Nobody's asking for that.
I mean, we have to mention that because that's the value that Diddy saw in her. I mean, Diddy is
But
worth millions. The only value he really saw in Cassie was her looks.
I'm that's not the value of woman.
That's what Diddy saw value in her. That's what Diddy
No,
saw.
that's not what you guys said. You guys said she's a baddie. No, that's and you don't know that's if that's all Diddy saw in her. Maybe Diddy actually like
Liked
liked
her music.
not her music, but like her thinking and her talking or something like that. I don't think, you know, especially if she went back to him all the time as well, like after even through all of that abuse, there had to be something more than just sex between their relationship. So please stop doing this to women.
Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with valuing a woman's beauty because a woman's beauty is the prize. Isn't that a Turkish saying? Turkish saying time? No, a woman's beauty is valued.
That's not wrong, but that's not the only thing that you guys should validate. And when it sounds really bad when you guys think she's a liar and then also call her a baddie. So yeah, that just sounds really bad.
But it's not unrealistic, actually, to think that beautiful, sexy women use that beauty to then attract men and then trap them to for some purpose.
Yeah,
That's
but that's not the case with Cassie.
I don't think that was the case, but it's not unusual to imagine that people might come to that assumption. If there was some old crippled about to die billionaire, and then he walks into the room with a 20-year-old blonde bombshell shaped like Pamela Anderson, you would think, well, I don't think they're with each other because they have great conversations. I doubt that's why they're
Yeah,
together.
but that's an extreme example that you're giving.
But that's an example that we see often. Didn't Al Pacino just like a few weeks ago, right, divorced his 20-year-old like Arab girlfriend who he has a baby with, and now he has to pay her like 50,000
Again, an extreme
like that.
example.
That's not.
Fine, fine, but I don't think that was the case with Cassie and Diddy, and I don't think that's like something necessary that you guys should point it out. I don't know.
I'm gonna point out another example. Do I really have to keep doing this? You're saying I'm going extreme. Big Ed got at least a decent looking chick, and she is with him obviously because Big Ed got a lot of meat or a lot of money. One of them.
I
Am
I
I
don't
tripping?
agree with that.
What are you talking?
I seriously do not agree with that, but we're not going to discuss 90 Day Fiance here in the live chat.
What'd
You
you say?
broke too. Okay. I think it's better now.
All right. Yeah, but what were you saying?
I said we're not going to discuss 90 Day Fiance last resort here. Fine. You're not understanding. You're not understanding me. I'm saying yes, woman can be beautiful and a woman can be like that, but that's not all women are. And when you just point out that part, it's it's sexualizing women, and it's like I, it's objectifying women.
I'm not objectifying women just by valuing a woman's beauty, because I would value the beauty in everything. We value beautiful homes more than just shacks. We value beautiful cars more than just Toyota Camrys. There's a thing.
You're cutting.
That's not sexist for me to do that.
Okay, it's coming now slowly. I'm only
Some connection issues.
I'm only just gonna say one thing, and then I don't want to argue with this about this because this is making me cringe. You said you don't objectify women, and then you just compared women to houses and cars. So
No, but
please stop because you're sounding like a very old-fashioned person. So just stop. I know
is that
you are not sexist, and I know that you're not like a, you know, this type of person, but I think you do sometimes objectify women, and it's okay to say that a woman is beautiful and she's a baddie or she has a nice butt or something like that. But it's not, I don't think it's okay to emphasize that like 10 times in a video about sexual abuse. And that's it.
it's easier for me to emphasize the beauty of women because I more readily recognize it as a heterosexual man. But I can also recognize the beauty in certain men as well. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and just say, "Oh, Denzel is so handsome, Cuba Gooding Jr. is so handsome, et cetera, et cetera." I'm not just going to say that, but you have to recognize that beauty does have a certain quality that we do like in people. There's a certain thing that we do value beauty in all different groups of people, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, admiring that, and seeing
I
that.
didn't say
And
it was wrong. I get that beauty is a part of, human and woman and things like that. I'm just saying there's a difference between saying that she's beautiful. There's a difference between saying, "Oh, she's a baddie. She had it like she had that trunk or something like that 10 times." And then, it gets a bit excessive. But anyways, I don't want to argue about this anymore.
all right. Well, let's just wrap up with this. So the last question. So is there responsibility that people have to accept in abusive relationships in certain circumstances? I would say yes. I would say yes. Like if you're in a toxic or abusive relationship, and you don't have any things that tie you to that person, uh, foundationally, like fundamentally, like no kids, no house, maybe just a career, but there has to be some accountability and responsibility at a certain point in abusive relationships if you're the abused.
Yeah. No, I guess I can say that you kind of made that clear for me today. I do also think, like, yes, you do need some accountability, but not in the sense where you are held accountable for everything. Um, because that's also like a stereotype with women who have used, like, oh, why did you wear the miniskirt, or why did you go out so late, and things like that. So not stupid excuses, but um if we're only talking about toxic relationships, then yes, there is some responsibility of the person who's staying in the relationship. And I guess especially if that person, does have the ability to flee the relationship in terms of like financials and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
That like the most part of the fault goes to the abuser, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, every time somebody is abused, it's the fault of the abuser.
yeah,
But responsibility lies on the person who knows that they are with an abuser. After you know you're with an abuser, I do think you have some responsibility uh, for your own safety and sake. Not responsible for the attack that happened to you, but
yeah,
you are solely responsible for your own life, right? We all are to some degree. And what we choose to do with our lives, we have to accept the consequences,
yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. Uh,
Right. So,
read the last comment.
yeah, I can't see comments anymore. So if there are any, read them.
I'll just Greg Max said, "Don't forget Ember shit the bed." Greg Max said, 29-year-old having a kid at 83 is wild. I don't know who this is, but I think it's like one of the old that you were talking about.
Hmm.
Max said Cassie was a freak, broke up with Puffy, went to Kid Cudi, found out she messed up the bag, then conveniently she files her lawsuit with 1 week left of statutes of limitations.
That's what I'm saying. The money looks funny in the light.
I don't know like the week or the statutes of limitations. I don't know those things, but didn't wasn't didn't this happen like a long time ago?
No, this lawsuit was filed about 3 days
No,
ago.
the relationship, not the
The relationship, if I remember right, in the lawsuit, it ended in 2018.
okay. So she filed another lawsuit before this one?
No, no, no. So the statute of limitations probably is 5 years after the end of the
Uh,
last abuse or rape or crime that happened. So probably she was heading up to that 5 year mark with 1 week left,
oh,
according to Ozzy, and filed this case.
okay. Well, again, I don't know what her motivations was, but if to me, I do believe that she was abused. And if that's the case, then I do think it's a fair price for me to pay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Up here, thank you for everybody who came into this conversation. This was an interesting chat. We reached some level, and yeah, anything you want to say, Acting? Is it breaking up?
A little bit, but now you're good. No, I think I've said it all. I'm good.
All right. All right. Catch y'all next Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, rocking with us. Peace.